Listen, if you guys are in Oklahoma, if you guys are down south in the U.S., please take your advisories seriously. I know there's some bad storms forming, and I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but today we have an expectation of a pulse coming through. That's what I've been busy tracking, because it's very unusual, right? I don't want to cause anybody any undue fear, trepidation, or anxieties. This wave is going to carry with it some properties that will most certainly change our weather and potentially do some other things that are quite unfavorable. It's not going to be good by way of communications and some of the long durational projects that they have concerning communications. This one requires caution, sobriety, obviously, but a lot of caution. This one is a bit different than the rest, and it was actually quite surprising. So there's a big expectation of this thing. We're about 2.5 hours away from its actual entry, and of course, as it gets closer, it's very easily tracked. Distance is acquired, particle strength or particle density is acquired. Certain properties are acquired, and we can see the outcome or predict the outcome by way of simulations a bit more accurately. And that will better serve to prepare for some of the changes it'll most certainly cause. So hopefully, let me see. So we have Mixler. Somebody says, what are properties? Or, for example, a car has properties, right? One of the properties would be if the car is red. The car has big tires, or the car has small tires. All these details are properties. When you're dealing with physics, or X-rays, or large gamma bursts, or any of those things, they carry properties that can be extracted by way of optics, lasers, and light diffraction and diffusion. Upon reading those, you can tell what gases are involved, what high-speed particles have done what the impact is on other gases in our, solar system. And from that, you can build a pretty accurate picture, what it will cause. And it's getting close, very close. So that's being tracked. That's being tracked. One of the big problems is we have the winter has broken, pretty much, right? Well, it seems that way. Winter has broken. Temperatures have warmed up. The Earth is going through about a 0.2 degree tilt cycle right now. So weather conditions are going to change all over the Earth. Due to hot and cold shears, these superstorms are beginning to form, all right? Now, I know today and tomorrow and the next day, they're going to be pretty rough regarding weather for you guys in the South. And I don't mean to cause anxiety, but anything that we have in the next 3 days will not compare to what will form in the next 4 to 5 days. 4 or 5 days from now, we're going to see the formation of supercells in places where they shouldn't be. I wouldn't be surprised if some of these hot and cold shears actually cause super high wind speeds. So that could potentially mean derechos. Most of the time, these storms they conflagrate right over the USA. This time, they're going to spread worldwide, and so that's going to be the difference. Any type increased density or energy added to our atmosphere is going to translate or actually react with some of the heat in the oceans. Of course, with these pulses coming through with the sun, we're having an event, an ongoing event, where magma is becoming quite active. That's going to cause greater heat shears. And that's where cold and hot air meet. And they kind of cut off at an angle, probably at about a 30-degree angle. They start drifting, which causes massive isobars in between their high winds where cold and high and low pressure meet, hot and cold air too. That means super formations of hail. Now, we've not seen this before. There was a time, there were several events in the world where it did hail hailstones fell. They were about, I'd say about 2.5 pounds. 2.5 pounds of maybe 4, maybe 3 pounds. They did a lot of damage. There were even times when when dusty hail fell to the earth and lots of people died. There are stories in times of old where it destroyed entire forests, right? There was a hailstorm, for example, that fell probably back in the 1400s that destroyed likely about 1,000 miles of forest area. I mean, it leveled trees to the ground. So the entire forest and animals, the stench from the animals was terrible, right? These are documented historical events that sometimes you comb through, right? And you look at these things and it's not a good thing. But we're about to face that again, that same weather phenomena we're about to see again. The only difference is we have homes, correct? We have building codes, yes, but they can't withstand hail. That weighs about, 5 to 10 pounds. That's unbelievable, right? But again, hail, the size of hail is governed by how fast the wind is blowing on the surface, and it goes straight up. The higher that wind speed, right, the higher those updrafts, the more weight the atmosphere can sustain. Hail's size is determined by how much debris can be sustained in the upper atmosphere. Then when if those high winds are about 150 miles an hour, they're going to produce a hail size there will be a maximum size involved, which by the way is not too big. If wind speeds go up from there, the hail size gets bigger, right? There is no, I didn't do that yet. There are charts that you can actually look at. In fact, you can run the formulas, of how big hail can get based upon the wind speeds, right? All those formulas and things are within a computer that I often utilize for simulations. I run calculations a lot, or have the computer do that, so I can see some of the dynamics of what's actually being faced. And based on some of the trends that we have right now, our infrastructure has already been weakened to the point where now it's a governmental problem. It's a Democrat-Republican problem. They understand that they're going to have to address the infrastructure, or people are going to begin to lose their foundations. We're going to lose more and more trees. Trees have been falling all over the place because of all the moisture held in the soils, right? Not just any moisture, but high evacuation rates of the water that pull away soil from the roots, and then the tree goes because the soil is not compact. Right? So we have a lot of issues like that happening, which means the earth itself is beginning to degrade on its surface, where we have built all these things. And that's going to be something that, all of us face again. In about 5 days, I'll say, we're going to start to see the formation of some superstorms in various parts of the world, right? Various parts. And from that point, we're going to have some issues, right? That's some issues.